Hey y'all, it's me again, Joey.
Well, ready to let them loose?
Yep, that's it. Let's see if they make us run.
Oh,
Probably so.
yeah, that one tried to get after him, but other than that, what can you expect? I mean, can you blame them? Oh yeah, they're getting after us now. Go, Joey, go!
Hey man!
They're mad, buddy. I'm gonna get in the truck. You gotta go back and get your camera.
But also, just get as many as you can off the one next to it. Get out.
You gotta move forward.
Do that side again. Y'all ready? Let's get started. Hey y'all, it's me again, Joey, and Mr. JW. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. See, we got 18 in here. Last time I tried to go through these names, it went from 18 to 50 something. So I'm just going to say, hey, everybody over in the chat.
Likewise. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Tired.
Tired?
I was in the bee yard. We went through, that round bottom came out today, and we went through 37 of 45, so we pretty well got through all of them. Long, hard day.
I'd be wore out if I had to go through that many in one day.
I am wore out, let me tell you.
Would help or not.
Yeah. He's good help. He's got better eyes than I got. I did a bunch of, when Tom and Melissa came out here, it was the 7th of April, I think. And we did a bunch of, did a bunch of splits, and I had several cells that I split with swarm cells.
Yeah.
And I think every one of them took, but I never got those queens marked. I think we marked 13 or 14 queens today that I knew I'd seen some of them, but I didn't have them up. I'm awful bad about not carrying a marking pencil on me, and I'll find a lot of queens, and I won't have anything to mark them with, so. And I had some of them, I knew what they was in, what to look for, but I think we marked 13 or 14 queens today that I didn't have marked. So, which helps me out a good deal when I'm by myself, because I'm engaged with.
Talking about marking the queens, I start off every year when I start going through them saying, I don't normally mark my queens, but I think I'm going to try it. And I'll do a few. I'll do a handful of them, and I'll get tired of doing it. Because seems like it starts making me waste my time.
Well, you're probably right. It does. You could tell we're pretty well tell we're Hive's queen right or not.
Yeah.
But the way they acted, if you look at the little their
but
stuff, you can pretty well tell.
A marked one don't necessarily make me find her any easier, but I do. I would like to have them all marked. That way, if they replaced her, I'd know it.
Yeah, that's one main reason I do it.
And I just every year I say I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I got new pens. I'm gonna do it, and I end up using the pens to mark the frame when I pull single frames, so I know where it goes back. And that's something I just about quit doing. Is once I write the Hive number on that frame, it may not make it back to that Hive. It'd probably go somewhere else.
I know.
Once I get it spun out.
I never worry about that part of it. I just mix it back up.
Yeah.
We went through, like I said, I think 37 of 45 today. And I only had hive beetles. All I've seen a hive beetle on one hive, and it was only 3 or 4 on the top. So I feel good about that. So I'm gonna go next week and treat everything, I guess. I'm not going to check it or anything. I'm just going to AOV it. See what happens.
Yeah. Yep. But I have got several boxes full of honey. They just ain't all capped yet. Now, I went and pulled some in the prison yard, but I had pulled enough to make one spin here on this thing, and out of the 6 hives. And when I got to the last box, I think it was, they had a couple that needed to come out of there, so I ended up going back to another one I'd went in and pulled one that wasn't capped, but it actually was dry. You know, I shook it and bounced it and everything, and no nectar come out of it. So I did that where I could do 9 and 3. Right now, I've pulled like 344 pounds, I think, something like
Really?
that.
I'm going to get up here a minute, Joey. I've got my neighbor. He's mowing his backyard next door. Come in, I'm going to close my door so you
All right.
Can you hear that roar?
I could barely hear it. I wasn't paying much attention.
Yeah, that's his lawnmower running. I'm going to get up and shut the door. Maybe quiet
all
that
right.
now.
Yep, that's true too. And I tell everybody, they say, how you find the queen? I said, stop looking for her. That's usually what I do. I mean, I find her when I'm not looking for her. If I need to find her, I'll spend an hour in that hive.
I've got a bunch of black ones. They can, you know, if I got a big bee population in back queens, they're hard to see. Them old, I call them root beers. They stick out like a sore thumb for me. I can find them, but them black ones get much population, boy, they're hard to find.
Oh man, let me catch this call right quick.
Well, I don't know what to say. I'll just have to talk to the world. And how long's Joey been out of prison? I don't know. I've got 3 sons.
Hey, this October will be 6 years I've been out of prison. I was going to ask Philip what he means there. How long? How long, G? No. Okay, that might have been the question. Oh, where was I at before my phone rang? Anyway, I was actually going to go to my mom's. She don't have but 2. I was going to go today and see if I could pull any out of them. They don't do as good there as they used to. I don't know what's going on around her house. There's always been swarms to be caught there and make plenty of honey. For the last 3 years or 4 years, every year it just gets worse and worse with the honey production there and the bee population. Yep,
I think they've got you pinned down now, Joey.
Yeah.
Everybody knows you've been in prison.
Yep. Spent 27 years, 2 months there.
I was trying to keep that quiet. I didn't want folks to
Hard
say things about you.
Hard times.
Hey, Miss Kimberly, how you doing up there?
Hey, Kimberly.
Up there in that flat country. Black
DC, was you close to that truck that rolled over, spilt the bees?
I think that was in New Zealand, maybe. Joy.
Oh,
That what
okay.
was on there?
I thought they said it was in Washington.
No, it may have been. I may be crazy. I thought I seen where it said it was in the picture would come out of New Zealand someplace.
Hmm. I don't know about completely.
Maybe rehabilitated, not rehabilitated.
Yeah. Philip, if you can, when you get a chance, come on here. I had to go back and do some kind of maneuvering again in YouTube to get to see that comment you made again, where I could comment back to you when I got back to my computer. I do have the invitation link pinned at the top. If anybody wants to come in, you're welcome to come on.
You know, in answer to you, Miss Kimberly, I'm a little disappointed in how far along. I thought my honey production would be a little further along than what it is right now. I think we're running a little behind. But we're in there right now in our area. I think we're just now hitting the dead main flow. So we'll see what happens. Bees aren't bringing in much pollen around me right now. It's all nectar. So we'll see if they make up for lost time in the next couple weeks. I rescheduled to go into all my stuff about the 10th next month again, about 10 days. So I feel like it'd make a big difference. We'll see where we're going to have a good honey flow or not. But then we'll see. Time will tell.
We've got a pretty decent flow going on right now, but it's not an all day thing. They're getting pretty busy, kind of in the afternoons. They get pretty busy. I think I might have made this comment last week, but me and my wife was working in the bee yard, and it was kind of nice to just be ignored by the bees. They act like they didn't even know we were around.
I did something today I hadn't did in about 5 or 6 or 7 years probably. I did an OTS flip, showed Matt how to do one of them, let him mark it, and let's see what happens. So.
Yeah, I have tried that a couple of times.
I used to do quite a bit of it. It worked pretty good for me anyway. It hasn't passed.
I really don't know how to do it. I've saw a couple of little videos on it and mostly pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Most of what I learned about that was in some of the those old bee forums.
Yeah. You don't hear it anymore. Not a lot of people do it, but I used to.
Joey. I get it.
Hey, you
go ahead, Jay. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
If I ever get up there, I'm gonna get you to teach me how to do that notching, or just do a video on it.
Joy, you know I've said in the past I do not do how-to videos. I feel there's always people out there smarter than I am. I don't really be showing my ignorance about putting them out, so I just don't do it. I dance to a little different drummer in the bee world than a lot of folks do too. I got things that I do that probably other people think would be crazy. So,
well, what's going on in your bee world, Philip?
Oh, I don't know about my bee world. I've been just sitting around here at Mom's house all day. I did go to the grocery store for her, but other than that, I've just been visiting with her. But,
Well, that's good.
he's gone to bed, so I thought I'd jump on with you guys.
Sure.
I don't.
Glad you
And my
did.
bees are. I got plenty of bees, but no honey,
Yeah.
or not much honey anyway.
Yeah. Well, we were slow getting started this year. I know that. It's real slow getting started with our honey.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we'll get a late flow, and we might. I'm hoping them two little old tallow trees I found about 8 miles down the road will come in for me. They're just little bitty things.
If you got two, there's probably 200 around there somewhere.
It's kind of on a drainage ditch. There's not a. I doubt if there's much more. I am going to go down there when it seeds out good, cut a limb off, and go shake them further upstream on that ditch and see if I can get some more to take on. I don't know how long it takes. It probably takes 5 or 6 years to get them to mature.
I really don't know.
But yeah, I don't know if I want them down on the farm or not. I didn't want privet, but boy, I tell you what, the privet bloomed like crazy this year, and it didn't bloom until about May 15th. I thought privet was early. There's kind of different kinds of privet.
Yeah.
One of them blooms early, and then the ones that grow around my house not my house, but in Dallas that kind of grow up in the trees, kind of, on fence rows and up in the trees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's underbrush. Those are the ones that bloomed. And there's a bunch of those out there at my bees and crossroads, so I'm hoping it saves them because they didn't have much honey at all.
Those even get kind of uneven with their blooming. You'll have 4 or 5 lined up there, and maybe 2 out of them will bloom for a couple of days, and then the other 2 will start up.
I did notice it looked like a bunch of them was blooming and a bunch of them was already turning brown. I mean, some of them is probably just starting to bloom.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a whole lot of them around certain places.
I tell you, here, when it all starts blooming at the same time, you're going to get some swarming. As much of it as
wow.
When it does good, it wear you out with the swarms.
I hope we're past the swarms, but I don't know. I caught those 11 swarms just right off within the first 2 weeks of April. And I hadn't caught any swarms in Capel. I hadn't caught any in Crossroads. It's like it just shut off. And because I thought for sure I'd catch 20 this year when I got off to that start, but I hadn't. But I'm hoping the flow's a little later like it was last year. Because last year I'd given up before it found some of it came in.
Yeah.
But
Matt thought go ahead, Philip.
Well, go ahead. I mean, you talking about Matt. Matt, you said you don't know anything, but you taught Matt and Tom everything they know. I listened to that live chat on rerun.
Yeah. That's the reason they don't know nothing either. I taught them everything I knowed. Oh, well. We can't all be perfect.
Well,
we can't be smart and good looking, JW.
Yeah. Some of us can't be either. Before I forget, on that comment you made this morning, I saw it.
Uh-huh.
I actually saw it not long after you commented on my phone. And I usually kind of wait and the several people get on there, and then I just go down and comment to all of them,
Mm-hmm.
And I come back later and looked, and I saw 2 or 3 more comments on there, and no Philip. I said, that sucker deleted it. And I kept looking, looking, and I did something, and finally I found the email. It emails me every time somebody comments. I went in Yahoo, which I don't hardly ever go to Yahoo Mail, but
Right.
and I saw where it sent it. So I went back and dug around some other ways, and I found it. I said, "There he is. It is there." So a little while later, somebody else commented, and I went and looked, and then I looked again for yours, and it was gone again. That's when I texted you this morning.
Yeah. Well,
And
what's funny is I sent that second comment just to see, just to test it.
yeah,
And then, so then when you made that comment, I pulled it up on my mom's TV and checked, and sure enough, that comment was gone. That first one. So I sent the second one, and then when you came back and said you saw it came back, I went and got all the way out of YouTube and got back into YouTube on her TV, and that first comment was still gone on the TV. The second time I went back, and it never did come back.
that's weird.
I'm sure I'm under surveillance. I told you I made a conservative comment. They was talking about deporting people out in California, and I made a conservative comment about that. So I figured that put me on the shut this guy down list.
Well, anyway, I finally went back and found it and commented to it about 45 minutes ago, hour ago, something like that. And but that ain't
Yeah, I saw
all.
that.
I went to eat. I went to a little diner to eat today, and I said, while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and listen to Horizontal Bees chat.
Yeah.
So, to go to that, I went to my subscriptions. Horizontal Bees wasn't any in that list to be found. I've been subscribed. But anyway, I did a search and I found them. And it tells me I'm subscribed to them, but it wasn't showing up in my subscription list.
You know what's weird? Yeah, there's something going on with Rick with my account or Ricky's account or something, because I get notifications when you come on, but I'm subscribed to Ricky's channel too, and I don't ever get notifications when he comes on. And if I want to go to that chat, I literally have to go to an old video of his, click on his channel, go over and click live, and then and it'll show up and I can click on it. It doesn't come up automatically in my feed. I don't know what's going on there. I have to work just to get to that live. I don't know why.
Well, I couldn't find it. I did a search and finally found it. I got to watch a few minutes of it while I was eating, and then I left. So I hadn't watched it all yet.
I watched half of it on, I guess, Friday morning, and then yesterday on my drive over here, I listened to the rest of it. JW was on. It was in good form.
Yeah. We had all the good guys on Thursday night, all the smart folks.
That was a good chat. It really was. It was entertaining, start to finish.
I see where Miss JW caught some more coons.
Yes, I didn't catch any last night, but I'm up to 11 this go around. 11 coons and skunk, and since I've been trapping again.
Golly, 11.
I'm telling you, they're just thick. People just can't visualize how much wildlife I've got around my premises. I've got woods all around me, and it's like the Chinese army. They say they just keep coming and coming and coming. And that's what they got. I got a raccoon army. They just keep coming and coming and coming. So I don't think you can.
Oh, man.
I don't think I can kill them all faster than I can. Deer, turkey, coyotes, bobcats. You name it, I've got it. My deer's eating all my wife's flowers up, the hibiscus and their petunias, and they're eating the flowers right off of them, right up
They
next to the house, 10
they
foot from the
gonna
back
they
door.
gonna get in trouble eating the wife's flowers.
Yeah, they've already done it. So, Matthew was out here today. Tom was supposed to come. I guess he's sick. He's not. I haven't anybody heard from him. So he's, if he's not talking, he's got to be awfully sick. He's not chatting. I haven't heard from him or seen any posts, so he must be. Melissa's been down. I think he's worried about her or so. I don't know, but
Yeah,
he was
probably
supposed
so.
to come out today with Matt, but he texted Matt this morning early. I guess Matt said he wasn't feeling good. He wasn't coming, so we had a quiet.
You probably offended him. I'm sure he's easily offended.
Yeah. I'm just a guy who can do it, Yeah, bless his heart.
Thin skin like that he's got.
Yeah, he's. My crappie days.
We probably ought to.
Darren.
He probably won't come back on until we send him a get well card.
Well, we may have to do that. I don't know.
Apologies or something.
Maybe he might have kicked the bucket. Who knows? I hope he left something for me if he did.
Well, my whole bunch is gone right now. I pulled the camper back to Biloxi or Gulfport, and they all down there. The granddaughter's doing her last competition dance maybe for life. I don't know.
Is she in high school or is she?
Well, this was it's the one that graduated. She was in high school dance team and the competition at a club, and they're usually done by now because they already had their I can't even think of what you call it. Their little dance thing a couple of weeks ago, but
recital.
Yeah, they actually last competition they scored so high that they made it to this competition they're having this weekend, and that's one they've never been to. It's a higher, but she's so wore out with dancing. She said, "I'm not even going to do any of my solos." She's got about 3 or 4 solos she does. That's $100-something every time you do a solo, and even when they do group dancing, each girl has to pay $100-something. Glad to see all that over with.
Yeah, that stuff costs money.
But anyway, not to get off on dancing, but that's where my camper is right now. That's where everybody's at. So.
Yeah, my daughter Sophie did color guard, which back when I was in school, we didn't even have a color guard. My little school was so small, but we always thought it was just a few people with flags, waving around with the band. But it's way more than that these days. It's like a Las Vegas show act now.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. And it's lots of money, and the practices are more than the football team. And it's year round, too.
Mm-hmm.
I never did see DC answer me about that truck that rolled over. If he did, I missed it. I was wondering
if I saw that.
Close to his area or not.
Did you think that was in Washington State, Philip? I thought that was. I seen where it was. I was thinking they said that was in New Zealand someplace.
No, it wasn't in New Zealand because that would have been. I would imagine this time of year it would be in somewhere around Washington State or coming back across through the Apples and
it was in northern Washington.
Minnesota.
It was in northern Washington, and they was trying to get them all back together to get them onto the Dakotas.
Okay,
yeah, because that's kind of that they swing up through California and Washington and across, I think is the route for that stuff. Because I think they do apples in Washington, and then they go over and catch the regular flow over in the Dakotas and Minnesota and Wisconsin through there. So that all is just picking up. I think we could ask Mike or Coop. I think their flow's just starting. So I got a question for you guys. I know y'all gonna say do it just so y'all can see me fall on my face, but my buddy who's got land in South Dakota, I'm not doing that this year for sure, but he said his parents have land over on the west side of Amarillo, probably not too far from where Jeremy is over there.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that they'd love to have bees on their land, and their land's right across the road from a big cotton field. I don't know. I was thinking about end of July loading up a bunch of hives and going over there and see if I could get some of that good West Texas cotton.
I don't know. I'm pretty familiar with that area. I grew up out there, so
I don't think there's cotton all over here where I am now, over in northeast Louisiana.
Yeah.
But it's only about, I don't know, 3 to 5 inches tall right now. But I don't think it makes a lot of nectar. And if it does, they spray it so much to fight the boll weevils.
We'd have to talk.
I don't know.
I think Bruce Jenny, I think he gets quite a bit of honey off of cotton. They said
about that.
Yeah, some of them make cotton a pretty good bit of honey off of cotton.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that there are 2 different types. Now that West Texas cotton is only like knee to waist high. Around here, they have to spray it to keep it from getting taller than your head.
Really?
So it'll get so tall the cotton picker can't even pick it up. Because this is, where I grew up is the Mississippi Delta, and it's just the best, most fertile soil in the United States. It's basically where
the year you can drive through there, and those ditches will be white, they're like snow.
Yeah,
all that cotton. I guess that's the waste cotton everywhere after they harvest it.
They don't have near the waste anymore since they went to them big balers,
the bales. Yeah. They don't haul it unless it's wrapped up anymore. You're right.
Yeah.
I was in I can't remember if I was in high school or college. No, I think I was in high school, and some people had come in here from the north down to the lake we have out here. I don't know if y'all can see it right here behind me over my shoulder there. That's Lake Bruin. But this man comes in the store, and my parents had a clothing store, and he comes in and he says, "Where's all the chicken processing plants around here?" And he's like, "Chicken processing plants? What are you talking about?" He said, "Yeah, when we was driving in, we saw all these trailers with chicken feathers stuck all in the side of it."
Mm-hmm.
He was seeing those cotton trailers, those empty cotton trailers.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't stack it and pack it anymore. Most of them got them self-propelled round bale jobbies, and you don't see near the waste as you used to.
They either have that or they have those big compactors that make a big old block of it on a rolling platform thing that you can just drag up onto the back of a truck. That's the 2 ways they'll store it, But yeah, most of the cotton pickers make the bales now. It's the cotton picks cotton and bales it and drops it off, and then they just come pick them up.
Well, you talk about
they're waterproof and everything.
Those cotton pickers, those new ones. That's a hydraulic nightmare. They're just like there's 10,000 hydraulic lines and hoses on them beside them things, and they're expensive. They're about
gosh, all that equipment is expensive. Yeah, the cotton pickers. I mean, how many rows are they pulling? 6 rows now. I don't know what they're pulling. Back
Yeah,
when I was doing farming, they were only pulling 2 rows,
there's a big guy that raised a lot of
and they
cotton
jumped
down
to
there
4.
before I had cattle in Georgia. I asked him, he had 3 cotton pickers. I said, why have you, well, how can you afford to have 3 cotton pickers? He says, I got to have 3 to keep one running.
Yeah.
That's probably true.
Keep one going all the time. He said, they're high maintenance. So I know they're quite expensive. They're about $1
Yeah,
million.
and back when I was growing up, it was a big decision of when to pick the cotton because the cotton on the bottom of the plant was open and it was still bolls on the top. So when they would run through and pick that cotton, it would make those top bolls kind of break open. And they would either have to come back and scrap it or they would just say it's not worth scrapping. I always thought when I was a kid, I could just go get myself a cotton picker and just scrap it on halves or something and make a living. But nowadays, the cotton gets to a certain height and then they spray it with a chemical and it all pops open at one time and they get it all at one time. They don't have to go over it twice. It's just all high tech nowadays. I was driving to town today looking out in the fields on the side of the road and I was like, man, what happened to the weeds? There used to be weeds in all the fields and people have to go out and spray them by hand or hoe them or something. But they've got these modified, well, they got these plants that they can modify the seeds to where they're resistant to like Roundup, and then they can just plant them. And when the plant comes up, they can just spray everything, and the only thing that lives is the crop plant. Everything else dies.
Genetically modified. GMO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's wrong with half the people dying of cancer stuff from all this genetically modified stuff, in my opinion.
Yeah, it also kills all the stuff our bees used to eat.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Stuff that would grow in the fields and out in the ditches.
How'd you stop them, DC? Did you shoot them, or how'd you stop them?
What's he talking about? I can't see the chat.
He said he put a stop. DC said he put a stop to them spraying his roadway last year. I didn't know where he shot the road maintenance guys or what he done. So I was being smart alecky as usual.
They may not find them out there.
But they was killing his blackberries.
We've got a big blackberry broom now. I don't know whether it's doing any good or not. I've got a little dab of red pollen coming in.
What is that?
I don't know. I thought maybe you could tell me.
I know a couple of guys that keep bees around here. I'd like to talk to them and see if they have trouble dealing with all the chemicals that get sprayed around here. But they don't get online, like, as far as I know. I just know they happen to have some bees. Joey, how is the crop down there this year? You've been pulling a lot of honey early.
Yeah, it's not doing too bad. It was late getting started, but it finally started coming in. I've got a lot of boxes that's full of honey, just not quite ready to pull. But just pulling a frame at a time when I'm going through kind of checking on things. I got about 345 pounds, something like that. 344, 345.
Okay, that's a good start.
Pulled and in buckets. And like I say, I got a bunch of it. Some I could have actually probably already pulled. It wasn't capped. You could shake it and nothing come out, but I left it because I moved a lot from 9 frames to 8. I mean 8 frames to 9. And if it's still uncapped, I was hoping maybe they would just make them fatter instead of. That's kind of why I was just pulling what's capped, hoping they'd kind of make them fatter for me this year.
I'm going to have to go through mine by the middle of this month because I've told people I was going to be at the market on July the 1st. So I'm going to have to go get something.
Yeah.
I might get quiet here. I've got myself a bowl of ice cream, caramel ice cream with honey on it.
There you go.
I'll stop talking for a minute.
I'm trying to see what they.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna look at the chat too.
A lot of people dealing with rain. That's what killed me on the my tallow last year. I didn't get a whole lot of tallow. I got about 3 or 4 days worth, and then when that rain come, it rained all week and washed every bit of it away.
We got a lot of catalpa blooms laying on the ground here. We got about a half-inch rain night before last, knocked a bunch of catalpa. It's a pretty good flow for us here.
Catawba?
Yep.
Keith said he sells a lot of honey to folks that he got to try honey on ice cream.
That's pretty smart. You know, I say our flow's off, but I have one colony in my yard in Capel that's got 2 full supers on it, and I added a third. But the rest of them can't seem to fill one. Now I did take a bunch of colonies and out to the crossroads, and a bunch of bees came back, I think, and were trying to get in, and I think it was a collection of colonies all working at one hive.
Hey, Grammy, I miss Lisa coming in.
And Todd.
Yeah.
Where you been, Trader? We need to be talking to you. Need to get you in here so I can tease you.
He's probably cooking.
He's probably cooking.
Yep. It's lunchtime out there.
See, he can cook when all the other chats are going. But on Saturday, he needs to go ahead and buy him something.
Yeah.
Ready to eat where he can go.
Night, yes.
Come on Saturday night.
Eat a hot dog and come on down.
See there?
Cooking. You're cooking all right.
He might be.
He keeps jumping when I try to click on it.
He might be working bees. Who knows?
He cooking up something for some woman probably. Got him lined up.
We'll say he needs to get a woman to do that.
We tried to get him. I tried to get him moved back out here, and I'd line him up with some good farm gal. You know, all she knew how to scrub and cook. He won't come on around.
Bob,
get him one.
Bob Honey asked how often everybody check their hives. Well, with me, it kind of depends on what part of the season I'm in too. But
Yep.
sometimes it's like every 2 weeks. Once I get a honey super on there, I don't really check the hive no more. I just check that honey super.
Yep. That's what I do.
Yeah, Matt says I've got some. He says I've got some 8-frame mediums that weigh 65 pounds. Is what he said. I said, well, I hope you're right. I don't think I'm off a little bit of time. I make one. I do it in one full swoop. Get a couple of my young stout youngins out here and get them help me get them bee boxes off. Honey supers, whatever you want to call them.
Honey boxes.
Chris Combs, is those that photo, those shorts you had on? It says today's date of 24, where you had on shorts and a veil. Is that this year or is that last year's?
He said 104.
I think he's out there in the kind of in the desert. I don't know where he's at.
Where is he?
I done forgot where he was at.
California someplace, Chris is, but I don't know just where.
Maybe he's down there around Todd, Southern California.
I'm going in and out. My little dog's a little nervous this evening. In and out, Joey. I'm going to have to let him back in. He's wanting in now.
All right.
I closed out to put him out, and now he wants back in.
Chris say 1T.
I don't know what he meant there.
Okay.
Well, come out here and do a little cooking for me, Carl. Mine's on strike, I think.
Yeah, Carl.
Go get whopped side the head there, Mr. JW. Hey.
She must be gone like your bunch is, Joey.
Okay, well, Beard, where'd you at?
Yeah, wild beard honey.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
What part of Oklahoma, if I may ask? I've got quite a bit of family out there.
Quite a difference.
Every couple of weeks. Okay. Oklahoma City, okay.
Oklahoma City. That's not too far from where Jerome Bee Farm is.
Is he northeast Oklahoma City, and that's where Jerome is? Or do you know? I thought he was out towards about halfway.
No, he's pretty close to it, but I don't know
Okay.
exactly where he is.
Yeah, I've got in my honey bucket stack over here. I'm to the kind of to the bottom level. I got 2 on the second rack. I'm just stacking on top of each other with boards, and I have got to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 last year's buckets out of the way and put this year's buckets there. and then stack them up where I can keep rotating my oldest honey out first. And I just hadn't felt like picking those buckets up yet.
Brian, I can send Sauceman and Ramsbottom out there and let them be your lifters if you want to. If you want to use them. They're not very much help probably, but might be beat nothing.
So the way I would answer Wild Beard's question is, when I first got my bees, I wanted to get in them all the time. And all I ever wanted was 7 hives, so I could get in one every day. But now I don't get in them. I don't get in them enough. I probably get in them every 2 weeks.
I kind of get myself wore out, so I seem like I start off right with the timing. I think it's Ian. He likes to do every 10 days, don't he? Don't he go on a 10-day schedule?
Yeah, he claims that if you can't get to them every 10 days, you got too many.
Yeah. Well, I got way too many then. Darren's asking me, what's your uncapping setup? Well, it kind of depends. I have one of the what's the name of that? I forgot.
Is yours a chain uncapper?
No, it's the sideliner.
What's it cut it with?
You lay through there. It's got the little blades, the roller blades on it, and you crank it through there. Man Lake sells it. My wife bought that several years ago. She just had to have it. And now, for the most part, me and her both just use the Hilco uncapping tank with the knife, serrated cold knife.
Yeah, that's what I use, the offset serrated knife. Yeah. And I need to order a second one because if I do get some honey, I'm going to want Noah to be able to uncap while I uncap. The thing that slows you down is your extractor. Well, until you get an extractor that has a lot of frames, then your uncapping slows you down. So,
yeah,
as long as you can get a friend to help you uncap to keep up with your extractor, you're okay.
Yeah.
But if I'm uncapping by myself, my little 4 or 8 framer can keep up with me.
I've got my automatic uncappers is a Savannah. It's her name.
Yep.
Savannah's her name?
Mm-hmm. My uncapper. She can keep up with my.
Yeah, that's uncapper's way down my list. Things.
Well,
I would like to get an uncapping tank, but I'm still using plastic buckets.
I've got the old gray Man Lake tank sitting up on the shelf. I don't ever use it no more. I just got stuff thrown in it and put it up on top of that shelf to get it out of my way. That was my first tank. You know the one I'm talking about, Man Lake sells?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the one that they stack, you can nest them.
Yeah. Yep. I used it for a few years. And it does okay. Philip, have you tried running 8 mediums in the Vivor extractor?
Yes, I have, Hope, and it doesn't work that good. I couldn't figure out how. I believe the reason they call that 8 is you can run 4. You can run 4 radial and then 4 tangential. That's the only reason that works. I mean, you can try to rubber band them together. Joe, you taught me that trick to keep them from flopping to the side. But even that, after a few turns, that rubber band wears off. You constantly have to replace them. So I only run it with 4. Unless I've got a few deep, and I'll throw them in with them tangentially. But I don't see how they can call it 8, even though they fit side by side. One of them's going to flop over on you. But there is space between where you think they would go, and that's what I do. I just put them in there. I run 4, and yeah. So
I miss Matt.
I hope to get enough eventually. So I have to use my 20.
Matt can't be home.
But I like that keyboard extractor is good though. If you're not in a big hurry, it works fine.
Quit that politicking, Matthew, and you can't be home yet. You got to be on your phone.
Yeah, that Man Lake sideliner uncapper that I got, it's got the same rollers on it that what is that the one everybody pushes down in the rollers? I forgot what the name of that one is.
Does it got the spikes on it?
It's rollers.
Oh, yeah, it's got the little. Okay, yeah, it's kind of what do you call that? They're almost like vertical blades or something.
Yeah.
Simple harmony.
Simple. You're talking about the ones where you can kind of plunge them down in there.
Yeah.
Yep. Bruce has got one.
Yeah,
but it's basically the same thing.
Bruce,
just go sideways instead of, and it costs several $100s more, and it ain't worth a dime.
Well, it's automatic though, isn't it? Doesn't it pull them through?
Well, you crank them through. It's not bad when your frames is drawn out right. It works good. I just always fuss about it because I didn't want it. My wife wanted it. We were up there in at Man Lake up in Minnesota, and she saw that thing. She said, "We gotta have that," and I said, "No, we don't have room for that. We're in that little small car." I finally broke down and said, "If we can get it and the tank in the car, we'll buy it." And I'll be dog if we didn't get it in the car and still had room for more junk. But like I say, I fuss about it sometimes, but it works good if your frames are drawn out at least even to the end bars. If they're in a little bit, it's not going to get them good. You're still going to have to scratch.
Well, I mean that's that way with a knife.
Yeah. And I probably overdo it. I rock it back and forth several times. Because every time you go through, if it's thicker, every time you pull it through, those springs pull it a little further down until it bottoms out. But it's okay.
So, but it just cuts the caps. It doesn't tear them off, so you don't get a whole lot of extra wax, right?
It does a little of both, but yeah, basically it just cuts through them. You get a lot of the.
I know the people that use that.
You get a lot of the cappings out the extractor when you use it.
Okay. I would think you wouldn't get as many, but I guess you do. You get little fine shreds of it that way. I know those people that use the little spiked rollers. They don't end up with a whole lot of capping wax, and I like to get a good bit of capping wax out of my extracting process.
Yeah, DC, that's basically. I'm sorry, Philip. I'm sorry, walked on you.
Sure.
But
no, you didn't.
That one that Hilco's got, it's basically the same. I keep going out.
You're back on now.
I don't know if y'all heard.
You got it's about the same as the Hilco, same or something.
The heel codes is basically the same thing, but it's got the heated rollers on it that helps it cut through better. Probably a lot better device.
Wallbeard's got a question in there back there a little bit. Joey, might want to give us a comment too.
Let's see.
I'll have to go back and see when it's been back there.
Is that it?
Yes, other than Man Lake, yeah, there's several wild beer. Most of the people that's a little more experienced in beekeeping, they'll find them a good local, independent, personal beekeeping supply. I know there's Central Beekeeping Supply is in it's in South Central Arkansas. I know it would be pretty close to you. Hilco's a family-owned business. Hilco,
I like Hilco.
you know, most people are very satisfied with them. They give real good service on stuff. Most of these outfits have a website.
I buy a lot of my frames and stuff from Hilco. 3 or 4 days, they're here.
And you know, Better Bee even has really good service. It's just you got to figure out how to get around the shipping sometimes.
Hey, Jeremy.
Buy all your stuff and have it delivered to Nobby. But Better Bee has really good customer service.
I don't even know what Nobby is, you know.
The expo, and he'll figure.
Yeah.
Hang around us long, he'll figure it out.
Yep. Sure will.
Miller's good, folks.
That's it.
They give good service, got a good product.
Who's that?
Miller's out there in North Carolina, and Bill, they're always got a good showing at Nobby.
Yeah, if you got somebody close by,
which will I recommend?
Keeping equipment, that's a good thing to have.
Starting out, yeah.
But when you order it online, you got to order enough to justify the free shipping and everything, and some people just can't hardly do that, you know.
Yeah, I'd try to find me a local. You can Google it, you know, bee supplies, and there'll be several of them pop up. I bet the two big nationals are Man Lake and Dadant, Dadant.
Yeah.
That's the two big nationals. But a lot of people getting away from them, going to more mom and pop type independent bee supplies. You could probably find one in your general area. I don't know offhand. I've got a nephew out there in the Panhandle that's a pretty big beekeeper. He runs about 200 hives. I don't know who his supply is. If you'll come back on maybe next week, I'll see if I can get a hold of him, find out who he gets his bee supplies from. I have no idea where he gets them right now. He lives up by
I don't know why my internet keeps going in and out. I'm going to be firing AT&T for long. It keeps going out. I mean, I don't miss hearing y'all, but my picture's freezing up.
I'll tell you what, a pro tip to get free shipping to get to that $150 or whatever it is to add Hive tools or queen excluders. That's what I do.
Any little thing you
always need those.
Yep. Any little thing you think you're going to need.
I can lose Hive tools with the best of them.
Yeah.
I think I'm up to at least 10 right now.
Matter of fact. I got one I hadn't even taken the wrapper off of it yet.
Daydent has good prices on frames if you order in bulk.
Yeah, I've bought frames from them.
And they also, I do starter strips. So if I need a big box of wax sheets, I'll buy those from them. And of course, if I buy one, it'll last me 2 years.
I used to buy a lot of my bottles from Daydent too. They were at one time, their price was a little bit more per bottle than another competitor, but their shipping was either free or cheaper than the other, so I bought from them. You'd always have to watch that because it was kind of like tire sales. Sometimes one tire or one bottle per 100 or whatever, but then they're going to add that higher shipping on there. So you have to really watch that. And one of the competitors, they would have free shipping on anything over like $100, but when you bought bottles, it was exempt. It was exempt from the free shipping.
Yeah, because they're so heavy.
Yeah.
I had that problem with Nike Bottle Company. If it was over like 150 pounds, you didn't get the free shipping. They wanted you to do, what do they call that? With the crate shipping. But the freight, they want you to use freight. But they dropped that. Now it's just spend $300. It don't matter how much it weighs. Because I was sitting there, I was having to do some high level math to make sure I spent $300, but I wasn't over 150 pounds. A couple of times I had to add some other plastic products in there to make it work, because the shipping was, say you had a $300 or $400 order and your shipping was $300, doubled your cost.
Bug family's in the house. Daydent actually got a pretty decent extractor too. I almost bought one from them one time. My budget just didn't quite let me. That was before Hillco started producing them.
I've got a 3-frame tangential Man Lake extractor. It's my first one that when I bought it from somebody else. It works fine. Just I don't want to drink anymore.
I like my Savannah pretty well. She does a good job.
Your what?
Savannah. That's my extractor.
Oh, Savannah?
Yes.
I thought that was your uncapper.
Well, she's my extractor, uncapper, extractor, the whole bit.
That's one of the all-purpose tools.
She can keep that 22 frame extractor going just pretty solid. That she can extract that fast. Faster than I can strain it and bucket or barrel it.
The first year I extracted any honey, I didn't have an extractor. A buddy of mine that I was working with, he bought one, and it was a crank. It would do 8. If I remember right, it would do 8 mediums or 4 deeps. And my wife was tickled. The grandkids were tickled. We all went and pulled honey. And I borrowed that thing from him, and we spun it out. And when we got done, my wife said, if you want me to help you do any more honey, you're going to buy one with a motor on it. And before she changed her mind, it was an old...
breaking up, you didn't get...
I'm going to switch over here to... I'm going to go to Starlink. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Yeah, the first time I pulled any honey at all, and it wasn't much, maybe a box, all my kids wanted to help spin. They wanted to help bottle. They wanted to help do everything. And that was it. They got it out of their system. I didn't want to help after that.
How's that?
Well, you just come on.
That's good.
The Starlink's a weaker signal, but maybe it's not breaking up. AT&T is clicking on and off, on and off.
I'm real surprised that this is holding up as well as it is. I think it's because nobody else has got anything turned on the Wi-Fi.
Oh, could be it. This is the way AT&T's always operated here. They'll be good one night, the next night it's on and off, on and off, on and off. But I just ordered that Spectrum. I don't know if y'all see that. They're supposed to be coming tomorrow, and if it works for me, AT&T can say adios.
Don't know what to tell you. I have no idea.
Is there a contract with Starlink?
It says no contract. It's for 2 years. You can sign up for whatever you want for 2 years, no contract. Oh, we'll see.
Are you talking about Spectrum or Starlink?
Well, which one did you ask about?
Starlink.
Starlink is what I asked about.
No, I don't think there's a
Starlink
contract.
is what I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind getting Starlink, but I think it's up to what, $120 a month now.
I just looked at that, and it's something like that for the roaming. The other one's a little cheaper. The home one.
Mm-hmm.
They got two types. One for roaming, like traveling, and they got another one just for your house. And
okay.
One of them's a lot cheaper.
Back when I first started looking at it, it was $100, but they didn't have all their satellites up, and they didn't have, at that moment, they didn't have worldwide coverage, but they were working on it.
Yeah.
But they were also limiting the number of people in certain areas, so they didn't want any reduced speeds. But back then it was $100 a month.
Yeah.
But I think you had to pay $500 for the equipment.
Yeah, I don't know how much the equipment costs. I got all this from my son.
You're
get mad.
You're froze up again visually.
It's still going in and out.
No, you're froze up visually, totally.
Yeah, we can hear you, but you're not moving. Anybody doing lip reading can't understand what you're saying.
I think we made.
Yeah, I wonder if I can get Starlink for my business and get the roaming one, so if I move out, I can just take it with me. I bet they wouldn't like that white thing sitting up on the roof, though. That might cause a problem with the office complex.
This thing's still freezing up on me.
Yeah, we know that. We were talking to you, telling you it was, but you didn't know if you could hear us or not.
Yeah, we always use it. You never were out.
Huh?
No, I was going to say we never. You sounded fine. It's just that visually you were frozen.
Yeah, the Starlink, the Wi-Fi for it's at 150 feet away from me. The AT&T is right there. I'm looking at it, but it's still locking up on me. Just gonna be one of them nights. There you go. Starlink at home, 120, unlimited, 80 home. I don't know what the roaming is. Roaming's like Probably $40 more.
I don't know.
Why? What's the difference in light and regular home?
It didn't really say on the website when I looked at it. I just figured it was a lot less speed.
Mm-hmm.
The dentist.
I would. There's a lot of difference between internets. You get on something that's either a good satellite signal or on the what's this new wireless or the wires that they're running fiber optics.
5G.
Fiber optics, usually get a lot better service. And that's my thinking on it. Good night, Wild Beard. Come back and see us. Yeah, Keith was on with us like Thursday night. He came on, and he got his lockups was because of his computer, but it's not on your computer. Aren't you on a
Me?
Yeah.
I'm on my laptop.
Yeah. His was locking up in his laptop, was what Keith Spellman saying. He got a new laptop. So maybe that's your problem instead of your service.
It could be.
If that's the case, that ain't nothing but $1,000, $1,200 won't cure. Good,
this one ain't that old.
good big screen to get you 80-inch screen.
Yeah.
You do like I do. I've got mine run on my big TV screen. That's the reason my face looks like I'm on fire all the time. It's all the light comes off this TV screen, makes me look red faced. I'm a little redneck, but I'm not red faced. Landline internet. Storage cards will do that too. DC probably knows more about the electronics by far than I know. Anyway, I'm not a electronics person.
Philip Bryan's asking you how your new yard's doing.
Well, I don't know. We just set it up and I hadn't been back to it, but I don't expect anything out of it because we literally took almost all the colonies of last year's queen that I split off from my Capel colonies. So it's just a hodgepodge of really small colonies and a couple of nukes. So, and it's only a few hundred yards from the other yard I had out there. And that yard's bee-wise is doing great, but honey-wise it's not doing much. But hopefully the privet was just budding out good last time we were there, and then it's been blooming since then. So hopefully that's helped it out. Looking forward to getting back out there. It's a retirement yard. I don't know. It's a fee. It's a pollination fee is what it is right now. That's all it's going to be this year. But maybe next year we'll build it up to make some honey.
You guys talk about retirement like it was something. I'm on my fourth retirement. I started my first retirement 31 years ago, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I'm on my fourth one now. I'm still broke.
That's what I tell everybody. I'm on my 4th million.
Yeah.
Never could make the first 3, so I just started over again.
You need, Brian, you need a saucepan and a ram's bottom. That's all I can tell you. Get them two young bucks out there and let them boss them around. Don't be nice to them like you usually are and everybody. You gotta really pour it on them because they get a little bit lackadaisical on you if you don't stay on them pretty hard. I can tell you that. They want to stop and talk. You can't be doing that if you're gonna get any work out of them. Don't dare let them stop and talk. That's all I'm going to say because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Before I got into the electrical, when I was right out of high school, I'd got in with Brown and Root as a laborer, dragging cement for a while. And after about a year, they come around seeing who all wanted to do some kind of trade. I said, well, if I'm going to be here a while, I want to do pipe fitting. They had some openings in pipe fitting. And I worked with a pipe fitter out there. Every time the supervisor would come around, Jerry Mayo was his name. When that supervisor come up there, he would just stop and start talking to that supervisor. He wouldn't work a lick when that supervisor is going to talk to him. And every time when the supervisor leave, he said, you know why I stop and talk to these people all the time? And I said, why is that? He said, because if I ain't working, they're going to leave. He'd run them off with all this talking.
Pretty smart.
Yep.
I thought he figured they'd start looking closer to work.
Yeah, he was the kind of guy, though, that he would take projects that nobody else would want. I enjoyed working with him. He did a lot of fiberglassing. I done forgot everything I knew about fiberglass.
You talking about the pipe, or you talking about what goes in the pipe?
Well, lining tanks and pipe with fiberglass after it's all put up, like 24-inch pipe joined together. We would wrap it and seal it like it's one big pipe.
So it had fiberglass on the inside and the outside?
And the tanks they did. They'd build in big steel tanks, and then we would line the inside with fiberglass. But I know nothing about it.
Like an adhesive?
Well, you'd have your glass. You'd put your base or fiberglass base on it.
Resin.
Yeah, your resin. You'd put that on there. You'd paint it on, and then you'd paint your angel hair or your glass on there. There's several different pieces.
Okay.
But we're talking 45, 50 years ago, so I don't remember none of that.
Yeah, they make an angel hair.
Like building basically.
Go put harder in it. I've done a lot of it when around the boat world. You do a lot of fiberglass work. If you don't, they'll break you. I made all of my fish coolers and stuff out of fiberglass. You know. Yeah, the good old smell of fiberglass resin. Yeah.
Look at Rodney. Rodney's all swarms all the time.
Yeah.
He's a busy man. YouTube videos. I haven't seen them.
Hey, Rodney. There's Southern Russell. I hadn't seen you earlier, I don't think, Russell.
Yeah.
Again.
Russell's over there in Mississippi, but he's really a coon ass.
Yeah.
Don't know if you know that.
He just
Yeah,
up the
He's
road
from
here.
Louisiana.
Named Rawls or something. Rawl or Roy or Royal or
He's
Roy's.
from the Bunkie. We'll call him out.
Just up the road from Mr. Joey here.
Yeah, he ain't about 30 minutes from me, 20 minutes, something like that.
Right. Yeah, well, you're close to Mississippi over there where you are.
Yeah.
You're probably closer to Mississippi than you are to Bunkie. It's over closer to Alexandria.
He's kind of
Oh,
like,
yeah.
yeah. Uh, well, you just been awful quiet,
You can
Russell.
tell me here.
We hadn't seen your post. I guess I hadn't.
Yeah, you ought to come in here sometime. I know he's got a lot to say.
It's
Yeah, I think if I was closer, I'd just follow Rodney around with a camera. I could make me a bunch of videos.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like this old house theme, you know. What you gonna do next, Rodney? How you gonna get that one out? Well, there ain't a whole lot going on. Look like it's gonna be a short night tonight.
Mm-hmm. Everybody's sick of us, or me anyway, I'm sure. I had a
There's your question right there, Joey. Larva to a queen,
DC?
to a queen emerging.
wouldn't be
13 days, I believe.
Yep, it'd be a day less than that. You know, larva's earliest would be 3 days, wouldn't it, boys?
Yeah, the 14 days is included with the 3 days of the egg.
Yeah.
Yeah, in my mind, it's 12 and a half to 13 from grafting, basically.
Yeah.
Which you should be grafting with a day old. 12 to 13. Well, DC, that's 2 weeks that's if you're going in and looking for virgins. Those are hard to find. If you're looking for evidence that they're laying, you're going to need to wait another 10 days. If not 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's
a lot longer than you think.
I always tell people would ask me, I said I wouldn't even start looking from, if you're talking about raising your own queens till 30 days, time they get out and get mated and get back and get to laying, they're just looking for eggs for at least 30 days. So
yeah, from like a walkaway split or anything, yeah, I agree with that completely. If you're really good at seeing eggs, you might could cut 4 days off of that.
Yeah.
But I'm of the opinion that, and if you can, I've gotten now where I can recognize milk brood. The only problem with milk brood is you're not 100% sure whether it's your queen or laying workers, because they'll make milk brood for laying workers.
Yeah. But you could also have a unmated queen. I had one time this year. She either wasn't mated well or something happened to her, and she couldn't tell what she was laying because she was filling all the cells up, but everything she laid was drawn. I
Well,
had to.
and I think I got one of those down. One of our nukes it superseded. They superseded they actually got made. That is one of them that I tried to combine a laying worker with one that was laying good, and they superseded her. And then I went back in and I saw I was ready to call him laying worker, but then I saw a little virgin run around in there, and her abdomen looked real short, like even short for a virgin. So I said, well, let me give it 4 or 5 more days and come back and look. And I came back to look, and there was a egg and everything, and they had already had drawn. It looked like a drawn layer or laying worker in the brood. But when I saw that virgin there, I said maybe she'll get mated and straighten them out. So when I went back in there a few days ago, there was an egg placed perfectly in the bottom of every cell, but none of them were hatched yet. And so she may be the drone layer that was in there all the time. Who knows? When she looked better, her abdomen was longer. So I'll give them another 4 or 5 days, and I'll go back and check when I get back. It's still not. I don't have a lot of confidence because I hadn't had very good results this year on my mating nukes. I mean, I literally like 30-40%. It seems like at the most.
Says he caught a swarm too before it got big and put her in a split.
I don't know. I can't put that. I don't know what he means.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah, that one was tiny when Joey had.
Huh.
But I still think there was more bees in there, Joey, at the end of that video.
He may be talking about the big swarm I caught. I'm not sure. Do what now, Philip?
Okay, I thought he was talking about the video today. You had a swarm low, not even bigger than your hand.
Oh,
But it seemed like there was, when they got up in the air, it seemed like there was more bees than that.
I know. It did, didn't it?
And even when you started pulling the frames.
They have built on that one side of that comb, that white comb I gave them, and one side of the other one next to it.
Yeah, I think some more came over there.
Oh, he was talking about today. I'm gonna have to give them some help because there's not enough bees there to take care of brood and go out and get food. So I'm gonna have to give them some food and some young bees to get them built up before July. They'll starve in the dirt. Oh, that's what chickens are good for.
I don't have my camera, and I don't know if I can explain it. And maybe Matt could. I don't think he's on here. Probably he should be about home. I think. Was out here today. I had a colony and had five full frames of brood. I think I'm telling this correctly, Joey. And I wish I had my phone here. I don't know if I could show it to you. I took some pictures of it. but one side of one frame of about 3/4 full, solid, almost solid mat of cap brood had about, I don't know what they were doing. The bees were just one side of one frame out of 5 full cap frames of cap brood in this real strong hive. They act like they were knocking the caps off of it and pulling the larvae out. I mean, they were bees that you could see they were still white.
Yeah.
The bees were, but you could see they'd formed their eyes and stuff and looked like they was pulling them out of the cappings. Was that? Some kind of a hygienic thing, I guess.
Yeah, it sounded like they real hygienic.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes they'll eat half their body off of them.
I never had all my years. I never had seen a frame, a cap brood like this one was, and then they looked like they was almost raised up like they were drone brood. They was mixed right in the middle with and every one of them, or about every fourth or fifth one, they had chewed the top off the cap, and you could see the bee down in there.
Were they pulling the larvae out?
They were pulling some of them out. Yeah. I don't know. I guess just on one side of one frame.
Some of the hygienics that they got these days actually go in there and open up and kill the mite. But if it's attached, they're probably gonna pull that.
I don't have any hygienic strains of bees of any way. My usual nuts. Most of my bees lean a little bit towards Caucasian influence of anything.
Now I've seen them do that when a flow shut down. All of a sudden a flow would shut down and nothing coming in,
and just start jerking them out of the clean.
But I don't know if they would actually during that. I don't know if they would actually uncap one to pull it out. Seemed like they would pull one out before it was capped.
Now
because it's already fed all it's going to need, unless they're thinking, well, when it comes out, there's not going to be enough food for it, so we're going to go ahead and clean it out.
Rodney, I don't think so. I mean, as far as that one side of one frame in the middle of the hive, I just never seen it. I wished I left my camera on at the farm in the bee yard on my work cart that I used to work my bees out of. So I left my camera out there. I took some photos, but I don't know if it'd show up or not. I get it. I'll send them. Joy, I got my camera back. I'll text you some of the photos and see if you can see what you think. Maybe we can talk about it a little bit later. I was reluctant to bring it up because I just don't know exactly how to explain it. But like I said, I had 5 full, almost complete sheets of brood in this one hive. The queen just been laying up a storm. But the one side of this one frame is there some kind of a hygienic there where they're jerking, uncapping it and jerking some of the larvae right out of the.
So yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't have to.
I had some do that. But
they had plenty of food.
Yeah, they got plenty of food around them. Bringing in, they were nice. I mean, my resources in the hive was good also. So I don't know. Some of them even caps where they's redoing it.
Matt says they were checking cap brood and recapping.
I guess that's the way you might explain it. I never did. They were on there too. I'd never seen them do that before, but I've never had any so-called hygienic bees before either.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
These aren't hygienically bred, to my knowledge. They're just my local mutts, so to speak, of about 25, 30 years of messing with these dudes. So I don't know what's going on.
That is kind of weird.
Well, let me tell y'all something I did. I know y'all think I'm the smartest beekeeper out there, but contrary to popular belief, I had trouble with my cell builder this year. Yeah, a queen virgin got loose in it, I think, and tore down all my cells. So I went, shook out all the bees and made them crawl back to a queen excluder, and then I left it on there because I didn't want one getting in there while I was making new cells.
Yeah.
Then when we got through, I left 2 cells in there to make a new queen. And I came back and was disappointed I didn't have a new queen. And when I tore it apart to combine it with the colony below, I forgot the queen excluder was still under there. There was no way for her to get out and get back. She's
That's a good answer.
I saw it, and I was disappointed. I was disappointed because I was like, okay, these things are packed out with bees. They can make honey still. They got a queen, but nope.
Yeah. I don't know. These bees will make.
I think I learned that trick from somebody on here. I'm looking for somebody to blame.
I'll take it.
I hadn't got used to using queen excluders again. I keep, when I take it off to check anything, I keep forgetting to put it back on. I start to put it on. I already have it in my hands, Set it back down and put that queen excluder on. And
Matt and I were talking about that exact subject. He said he hadn't started even hardly using queen excluders yet. And I said, well, no offense, both you and I, we've talked about it. I tried not to use excluders for a while, but I went back to them. I've got an excluder on about every hive I've got, that I'm trying to make a little honey with. They can
I use them
get the bees to work.
If I've got some drawn comb in the box, if there's no drawn comb, I don't put an excluder. It's just frames.
Teach his own. I do it both ways. If I got drawn comb, fine, draw to put the excluder on and pull up a couple frames of brood, even if I have to, above the excluder to get them to go on up there and work it.
Yeah.
If I got drawn comb, I'll pull up a couple frames of brood above that excluder and let them hatch out later and worry about it to get them going up there. But
Brian, Alf's lazier than I am.
Yeah. Some of them guys from Canada was talking about those new and I think didn't came and put out a little short or something about with this some kind of a new extended release shop towel or cardboard type deal that somebody in Canada was putting out. He seemed to be pushing, was thinking they was working pretty well. I don't know the details on it.
Is that the same thing that Bob Benny was using?
Yeah. Bob
was actually laying his on the top instead of sticking them down in there.
Yeah. Well, I think anybody that uses extended release or made them, even if you drop them down in there, that's gonna where they touch the comb, you're not gonna get any. They're gonna be empty spots. So I think everybody that's going to use them start laying them on top of the frames pretty much. That's the way I understand it anyway. What little experience I've had with them, that's what I did with what I used.
Well, I heard, I think it was Ian last night on Charlie's show say that those pads, if you put them on a single brood, put a sprinkler over top of them, they'll tarnish or rust your cleaning fluid, which makes sense because acrylic will take the finish off of
Yeah,
galvanized, and I don't know what it'll do to stainless steel, which is, I think,
probably
are
just
included in
paint.
stainless. It just
Let's
stings
see,
them. I
Frank
don't care.
asked the question, anybody ever use entire super of green foundation for the honey?
No,
I have, but if you got it, that's a good idea.
I've had individual frames. They'll go ahead and fill it out, you know. But I never did make a whole frame. I don't have that many.
I don't have any green frames.
I got a few of them, but I don't have enough to even make a full hive, I don't think. I got a few deeps and a few.
I know they do. Drone comb makes good honey. Makes good honey frames. But I do foundation lesson. The ones they make drone cells in, I pull them up above the excluder and make a lot of honey in that.
Yeah, I watched some of Bob's stuff, Carl, but
Yeah.
I'm so old and senile that I've already forget what I watched, like if it was yesterday.
Yeah, they were putting them on top, just letting the bees walk over them.
But I noticed. I did see that part of it, but I would thought Bob had probably done that before, but maybe not. Maybe he had was just decided to make a video on it because this ain't his first rodeo. So I'm sure that if he's had any strips on there, he's found out that they need to be on top. But I don't know that. I'm not speaking for him. He's a lot smarter than I am.
That's me, Darren. Same thing. Let them make what they need.
What are you doing, Brian? Are you doing one of those video chat deals or video streams, or is he coming to Colorado?
We might be able to make it 10 more minutes.
Oh yeah, actually almost 12. To stainless steel. Acrylic acid is not. I don't know. Don't know, Tim.
What Google said. There's Mark.
Well, you know why he's working late, don't you? Well, I called him up and we woke him up from a nap there about when he should have been out there in the pea patch. That's the reason he just now sat down from the pea patch because he slept through the working hours of the afternoon. That's what Mr. Mark Miller's done. I'm going to put the word out on you, Mark.
So we need to set our calendar when the pea's going to be ready.
Yeah. He may not be where he can see. Yeah, he surely can because he's on the chat. I don't know how he's doing. But we called him this afternoon. He asked me, I told you that situation I'll not go into it again on our live, but on that horizontal deal.
Yeah.
I called him for his advice, but that's what I ended up doing. We'll see what happens. Had 22 frames of bees, almost solid frames of bees in the horizontal hive, Philip, and not one sign of a queen or a brood of any kind. So I put a nuke in it. Queen right nuke in it. 5 frames of bees and just installed them right in the middle of everything. We'll see what happens. That's the short of the long story. What do you think? You think it'll work?
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't know. I've got the same kind of angst. You work so hard to get these nukes, especially when you make the queens. And then you're like, okay, do I take them and stick them in this queenless colony and risk them killing them, or just let them grow up on their own? To me, it's a hard decision.
Well, believe it or not, this
Seems
nuke
like
was from a walkaway split that I took out of that horizontal here about 2 months ago. And she's queen right, and I even had her marked and laying, and I just took her and put her right back into that hive.
I've got, well, what I did with mine that didn't make queens was what I call full size. I just combined them with another stronger colony and tried to, ones that weren't quite big enough to make honey, and hopefully that they're all together, they'd be able to make some honey rather than trying to make them queen right. I don't know if it'll work.
Dave, where are you at? You said that you're expecting frost again tonight. Where are you located?
That's what I was wondering.
What the weather? A thing on the weather, and they're saying that this is the coolest summer we've had in a long time.
It's been nice in the mornings here.
But the middle of the country has been like more than 10 degrees below normal for a long time.
There's Lee.
Yeah.
Look at there, Lee shows up.
Lee, you must have been sleeping on, taking a nap like Mark Miller was. You just now getting up, coming out.
He's usually going to bed by now.
Oh, northern lower peninsula of Michigan. Okay. Got you. All right. I'll be dang. Well, you're up there around old Fred Bear's old stomping grounds in northern lower peninsula.
Lee's in the woods. He's there. Are you hiking, Lee? Or rock climbing?
You're in Missouri rock climbing. Huh. I can jump over the rock that's down there in Missouri just on a run and jump. You need to come over there. This really high, dense rock climbing area. That dirty side stuff, that's just all for very simple stuff. You need to get some really, you want rock climb, come up there in central Illinois where you can see about 22 miles on the without seeing anything on the horizon. That's the kind of rocks I climb.
Yeah, not be long. We'll be blaming carbon emissions on the ice age. Ice age on carbon emissions.
There's a lawyer's channel I watch on YouTube. He talked about today where a rock climber fell and he's suing his climbing buddy
for not holding him up.
For not holding the rope.
I'm not. That's not my thing. Where you at, Missouri, Lee? Just out of curiosity, where you at down there climbing? And that's a serious question there. That's not some of my smart aleck stuff.
In case you didn't know the difference.
Yep. You must be a younger fellow then, I used to shoot a lot of, when I used to do a lot of archery, I shot a lot of Fred Bear stuff, products.
What's that say?
Cadet, Missouri. I don't even know where that's at.
Right, he went to that and then he went to this.
Right next to Tiff.
Cadet or Tiff. I've never heard either one of them. But I thought I must be in south, very south south central Missouri. There's some pretty good rock bluffs in through there. An hour or so south of St. Louis.
Yeah, that sounds like that Icona area, right?
That sounds like an hour or so south of St. Louis. If you're talking about straight south of St. Louis, I thought that was all soybeans and rice country. That's flat in the Delta country of the Mississippi down through there. Must be a little further west than that. Huh. I don't know. About 30 minutes.
Is there a town called Ico, Missouri?
Tom.
I have no idea.
Tom, I had about 30 minutes from Tom, and I'll be dang. Or Lee, if you're that close to them guys over on the dirty side, you ought to get the heck out of there and come over here on the clean side, because we got some really nice clean down there around Garden of the Gods in southern Illinois. They got some nice rock climbing places, and near Carbondale, over across the Herrenberg and the Shawnee Hills of southern Illinois. My boys go down there and rock climb all the time. They say it's pretty nice. Tiff is over there by them old gold mines. Okay. All right, Mark. Well, I stand. Well, Dave, I'm an old man, but I knew Earl Hoyt personally, who started Hoyt Archery. But he's dead and gone now. Well, he's 40 years old, so Darton Archer's in his town, okay. Shoots Hoyt stuff. Good stuff. Good product. Earl Hoyt cut his teeth working for Fred Bear. When Fred went into the archery business, he went out and come back to St. Louis and started his own company.
That back in the 80s?
No, that was back in the 50s and 60s, Joey.
Oh, way back there then, huh?
Yeah. You keep forgetting how old I am. I'm trying to remind you guys so more people will tune in and send donations. I'm almost on relief, you know.
Well, we've gone we fixed to hit 2 hours.
Yep.
I don't know how we did it.
I don't know either.
We got here.
I was about to run out of lies.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and call it. Appreciate everybody coming in the chat and everybody coming in the studio. And we'll see y'all next week. Tomorrow night, Gunline Bees.
Yep.
We'll see y'all there.
Good night, everybody.
Y'all.